All right, everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are, as always, with one of the Ruiz brothers, Jorge's right here at the bottom. And we have Bret. He is from CKNA. And just like I said on the last couple podcasts, we talked to Andre from Orlando Kart Center. It's our job, as any of us who are creating blogs, who are constantly on social media. It's our job to grow the sport, help our local tracks, help our local series, and that's what kind of today is about. Don't know where this is going to go, but Bray here, he's going to talk about CKNA. You know, I do have some questions about the program itself or the series, but it's more about the history or kind of where it comes from. But if you want to introduce yourself or kind of what you do for the series, we can go from there.
Sure. My name is Bret Spouty. I'm the regional director for the Cup Kart South program here in Florida, Southeast, really. We're Florida this year, but we're working on that. Excuse me. Yeah, so I just had a relationship with Greg and Steve through Vega Tire and the connection that we have there. We were able to, kind of have a relationship with those guys, and over time, it was time for something to happen down south. So they gave us a call. We gave them a call. Everyone kind of had some plans, and here we are.
Well, that's kind of simple in a nutshell, but I'm sure that there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that goes on that as racers, although we show up to the track and complain about everything possible, we don't realize how much hard work does it actually take to get an event like this together.
Yeah, it's this was kind of a program that we were really close to doing about 3 years ago, and it just never kind of fell into place 100% the way it needed to. And we just kind of let it go for a little bit, and it just, everyone gets busy and gets busier, and then it gets busier, and then it just kind of like all of a sudden it was like the demand's there, things are happening. The class sizes in 206 is just to the point where something had to be done, and we just got back to it. And I think we put the program together. I want to say early September, late October, kind of hatched out all the plans leading up to it. And I mean, really, it was about 50% done before we really started, just by the groundwork we had done a few years prior. So this was just kind of like updating the plan a little bit and just kind of making it happen, very quickly in a sense. But it really came together pretty quick for this year.
Okay. And what kind of turnouts have you seen so far?
We've had 2 events. Bushnell had just over 100 at 103, and Jacksonville,
Whoa.
we ended up at 84 or 85. I can't remember exactly. Monticello's coming up next weekend. Looking a little light, but we did get registration opened a little bit later than we wanted to. But I still think we'll end up, in the mid 60s, somewhere in there, maybe mid 50s for that event. That's an event that it's a track that doesn't really have a 206 base, but a lot of people who raced AKRA or FKCS, 5, 6, 7 years ago, they were really excited to go to Monticello. So a lot of those guys have switched over from 2-cycle format to a 4-cycle format, and they're excited to go back. So we're hoping to kind of pull at some of the old memories and fondness of a track that people used to go to that they don't get to very often, and be able to provide them an event that should be fun.
Yeah, I mean, and at the end of the day, I mean, we try not to use the F word around here. The F word will get us in trouble. But at the end of the day, is all to go out and have fun. There's a very small percentage of drivers out at the track that are doing this for a living. Yeah, try not to say the F word around us, because it'll get us in trouble with Heath. Not sure if you know who he is, but it definitely will. That always comes up.
Fun is a byproduct. All right. That's for you, Heath.
Yeah. So this is actually a fun story, which came from CKNA, right? So 2 years ago, we went to the Grands, which again, if you are in this 4-cycle 206 program, I don't care what you race all year. I don't care where you go. You have to make it to the Grands, right? Like that is, and I'm assuming you guys racing and doing the South Series, obviously it's all a build up to that as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we're on our way up to the Grands 2 years ago, and I think were we already there, Jorge?
Yeah, we were on the way back from the Grands.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, we were on the way back from the Grands, and Gabe made a comment about, oh, at least we had fun. And Heath is, if you make a comment, he'll bring down the buzz. He'll be like, well, technically, he'll bring out his calculator and formulas like, fun's a byproduct. We're trying to win, but it's a byproduct of trying to win. So we don't use the word fun anymore.
Yeah.
Or
So
especially around him.
yeah. So if you're on the podcast, please just refer it to the F word. Okay. That is
Yes.
our F word.
An
Now,
exciting experience that made you feel happy.
Yeah, exactly. He
Exactly.
probably will come up with something else, man. I'm
Yeah,
telling you, he
I
has
hear.
something for everything. He actually raced the Jacksonville one. He did the Jacksonville CKNA South.
Got it.
So yeah, it was a good one. He enjoyed it a lot.
Good.
now
So
it's for me it's kind of cool, although I haven't been able to make it to one of the South events. It's the caliber of the drivers that go out, right? So especially for that senior class, it's stacked.
oh yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Now, not to put you on the spot, Brett, but who is the fastest driver right now out there?
Not points wise. Don't
points.
think about points wise. Think about what you've seen wise.
To be honest with you, it doesn't really make much of a difference because one session, one guy's quick. The next session, the next guy's quick. That senior group, light, medium, heavy, doesn't really matter which one. There's about 4 guys that you could pretty much throw a blanket over, and you're going to get an answer out of one of them, and the other 2 or 3 are not very far behind. I will say in the Legends class,
Oh.
yeah, those guys, I am going to go off points. They're tied after 2 races.
Oh yeah.
And it ain't looking like there's going to be much of a separation at the end of the season between those guys. So I think the Legends group is actually a pretty cool racy group. You get to see guys who are 50 and over, they get to go out there and race against themselves, not, kids. But back to your question, it doesn't really make any difference. There's 4 or 5 of them that you could put a win sticker on at any given time.
I need a name.
Good political answer.
I need it.
It's a political.
That was really good.
I got 3 in my head, right? Who's the 4th? Okay, so I'm gonna say Dylan, Corey Tolles, Colin Warren, and who's the 4th?
Gabriel? Make Gabriel maybe?
Yeah, Mick's up there
Oh,
usually.
Mick. Yeah, you're right.
Skaggs, he's been up in the front quite a bit. You've got Chris Carroll.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Chris.
Those guys in the Coyotes, they're pretty quick. But I mean, we just named off 7 guys.
Yeah,
6,
I
7
know.
guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
it
doesn't matter.
Florida has the best drivers. Everybody can argue with me, but I don't give a crap.
Yeah, and no offense to if we didn't name anybody, in that top, because I'll tell you guys, I take it personal when anybody, I race heavy. But I take it personal when somebody makes a post and talks about the fast heavy guys and my name is not mentioned. So Jorge has seen that when I show up to the track and those comments are made.
Oh my God.
Driver. And I will warn you guys, there was a post recently made about heavy drivers being fast. And a lot of guys were mentioned except one guy.
Really?
Yep, you were in it. So you didn't even know.
I was?
Yep, you're used to being told that you're fast. But everybody forgot Gabe again. So
wait, I got tag me in that post so I can read it.
Yeah. Warning. This is a warning for SSKC Anderson. Okay. Now, SSKC Anderson, is there a shot maybe next year? Are you guys working on doing anything at any other track like Anderson or Orlando or on Homestead or anything like that?
We were close with Orlando this year. Our 4th race, we were going to go to Ocala. Ocala was number 2 on the list. As far as schedule, they were race number 2.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, they gave us a quick call. They said, "Hey, it's not going to happen. We're going to move you, to a later date." Okay. Well, then April rolls around, and here we are, and so that kind of left us in a little bit of a last-minute scramble to try to figure out where to put that last race. So we couldn't get there with Orlando this year. We're going to come back to Bushnell for race 4, run a different layout for it. It's not ideal. I get that. I understand that. But it's what we get to work with this year. That's kind of where it's at. Next year, we will about 90% positive venture outside of the state of Florida, for sure. That means that we're going to limit the number of events in Florida, just because we have to wrap up by mid-August to make sure that people have plenty of time to get their stuff ready for the Grands, which is usually that last week of September or first week of October. So we kind of have a tight time schedule that we have to complete our series by, to make sure that the Grands aren't affected by that. So next year, no official anything of anything yet, but we will probably be traveling outside of Florida with a reduced number of Florida events, trying to get somewhere in that 5 to 6 range of events, and very likely to turn it into a 2-day show. Year 1, we wanted to make sure it worked, in a sense.
Yeah.
You're post-pandemic, you're a new thing. It was kind of a whole lot of stuff to take on. Not saying that the risk isn't worth it, but it's still a risk. That you gotta buy stuff. You gotta have the income to make it work. So thankfully, so far we've been, very well received. The racers are enjoying things. They're still entering the events. So I think that next year we can truly make this a true South Division style series. So we'll do a couple in Florida, try to venture north, maybe a little bit west, kind of figure out what's out there, who's got some spots for us, and what we can do.
Let's just keep it
So-
in Florida. We know all the fast guys are here.
Have you thought about, when you say outside the state, are you thinking about maybe South Carolina, Atlanta? What would be out west? How far out west too? Because I don't know much tracks out west. Like, I live in Georgia, and I think South Carolina is 2.5 from me, Kershaw, and then I got Barnesville about 2 hours west.
If I could make a triangle of sorts,
Yeah.
to me, what South would encompass would be Charlotte, GoPro. That
Okay.
would be the furthest north that South should really be. And West would encompass out to NOLA. I mean, that would be the furthest out there. If you draw all those legs, it's about 8 hours from Bushnell to Charlotte as it is from Bushnell to New Orleans, and it's about the same from New Orleans to Charlotte. So it kind of gives that little 8-hour triangle there. That, not saying that Bushnell is as far south as you would go, but to get the people to travel from Tennessee down South Florida, that might be hard, but you
Yeah.
might,
I don't see them going down the Homestead or
Homestead's
to
another,
Tampa. Yeah.
so
That's too far south.
it's that's kind of what I think of whenever I think of South. NOLA to Charlotte, back to Central Florida.
Okay.
I think, and that gives you a lot of tracks. You got Kershaw, you got Barnesville, you got Jacksonville, all the Florida tracks, NOLA. You can even throw in the Biloxi track in there if you wanted to. What is that? Gulfport.
Oh yeah.
So all those places you have to go through. You have to, figure out if you got enough parking, one, to put an event there. And then number 2, talk to the tracks. Tracks are not easy. It's a fine line to get a track to let you host a race, especially when they have rental carts there. Rental carts pay a lot of money compared to go-kart owners. That's just kind of how it is. I mean, trust me, I would love to race wheelbarrows and have wheelbarrow races, but wheelbarrow races don't pay the bills. Rental carts pay bills. So tracks charge a lot of money when they have rental carts. And so to get good quality, top name facilities, you really need to have great cart counts to be able to make up for that, larger bill.
Yeah, especially when you're closed for 2 days, right? So, I mean, I can't speak for Andre, but from talking to him on the previous podcast, which will be linked at the bottom. He mentions it, right? For him to close the track for 2 days cost him, especially being in the Central Florida area, it's not a couple thousand. It could cost him tens of thousands to close for 2 days. So,
Yeah.
and not that I know what an event like CKNA would bring, or SSKC, or anyone else like that, but it's a hard pill to swallow, right? To give up 2 days of your month, that anybody that's in any sort of business, your Saturdays and your Sundays, that's your bread and butter. So
Yeah,
completely.
and it goes both ways too, because when the track owner wants to be nice and not, I'm not saying that, sarcastically, but be nice and give you a little bit of a deal, the deal is still big. So as the guy who's coming in that doesn't know how many entries he's going to get ahead of time, to then agree to a bigger number, it's uncomfortable kind of for both people in a sense, because the guy that's used to making good money is now kind of taking a little bit of a hit, and the guy who's used to spending a little bit is now spending a lot. So both people kind of in like it's a weird relationship.
Yeah, it's a risk.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
mean,
risk.
it really is. So, and it's a unique atmosphere whenever you're trying to get a high caliber track to agree to do an event. Whether, I mean, it could be any event. I mean, it doesn't have to be a cup card event. It could be a travel and road show comes through and they want to do a 6 or a 10-hour event. I mean, it costs money to do that too. It's not just race events. It could be someone wanting to do anything.
Yeah, I think it's also a lot of political into it as well, behind the scenes. I'm pretty sure some of these tracks, I know you guys run Vega tires, and all these other some of these tracks are exclusive to MGs. There's probably a political thing when it comes down to that too. That
Yeah.
they just don't want to let some people run certain style tires. So in the
Right.
end, you're only fucking, pardon my French, you're only fucking the racers, because all we want to do is fucking race. Right? But it's a political thing behind closed doors as well. So
yeah, I mean, I'm not going to name a specific instance, but I mean, I have specifically had people tell us that because we're not buying certain products at their event, at their pro shops, that they automatically charge more because they don't have the ability to sell the product that they normally sell. So it's so right there, that's a revenue stream. So a guy who has a shop who sells X number of dollars and whatever doesn't get to sell that to a certain group because they're either the wrong tire or the wrong engine or the wrong whatever. They don't get that revenue anymore. So they have to make up for it in a different place, which then turns around and you get a higher track rent.
Yeah.
Why can't
So
we?
yeah, I mean that falls in that political side of it, but it's political and money in a sense. So
Yeah. So again, and it's up to us. Jorge. We have the secondary channel, which is mainly a vlog, and as much as we enjoy the blogging part, right? Because it's fun doing it and all that. There's nothing more fun than when we hear, well, I don't own a cart, but I watch your vlog or I watch a podcast and I'm trying to get into it. So you got two guys on this side that, I mean, I don't get a cent or a penny from anything karting, right? For me, karting is a hobby.
Yep.
But it's also on maybe some of the manufacturers. It's maybe on some of the track owners. Like, hey, there's got to be a give and a take, and unfortunately, politics does take a bit of it. But I mean, it's a shame. It sounds like Orlando's not happening anytime soon. But I think you'd probably have a 200 cart turnout. Last 206 event, which are really small. They're half day events that we do in Orlando. I think altogether there was 50 or 60 carts, and there was the same day as cup carts, and there was something else going on too that day, so that we can.
Yeah, scheduling's a lot too. You got so scheduling, you guys can't, it doesn't even matter, because scheduling, you guys try to stay off each other, but in the end there's only so many days the weekend. You only got 4 weekends.
Yeah, you only got 52 Saturdays in a week.
So basically, you're gonna run over each other. And I'm surprised with the turnout that everybody had. You had what, Max's, excuse me, Jacksonville,
Charlotte, Jacksonville,
Charlotte, Mother's Day weekend, Orlando. I mean, if you add up all those 206s in that area, you think about it, you had Easily, Jackson would have been over 200 carts.
Yeah, because
If there's nothing going on in Orlando, those 50 cars would have probably hit on Jacksonville. So you're right now a 1-day event,
Yes.
correct?
Yep.
And
Technically, you move in, you can practice on Friday, and then you race on Saturday.
Nah, nobody needs practice. So practice. All right. So you can practice Friday, run
Yep.
Saturday, and then that's it. I mean, I like
You're
the
on the road
format
by
of
7:15.
I like the 1-day event format at the moment. Now, if I do travel, like if you are gonna do like NOLA, GoPro, if I am gonna travel a minute, 2 days for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the way Cup Carts, the way, excuse me, the way Cup Cart has their schedule, even when you go to Charlotte, for example, back in March, 300 entries. I mean, you guys were rolling out the door, at 4 or 5 o'clock on Sunday afternoon? I mean, you're not
Oh yeah,
there.
we were done early.
Yeah, I mean, you're not there, terribly late. So the way the format runs, it's pretty smooth. Jacksonville and Bushnell, we were able to achieve by the minute scheduling. I mean, at times we actually were waiting on the clock to roll over so that we were on schedule. We weren't early. So it's when you can stick to a good schedule that you take a few minutes to figure out, not just throw it against the wall and whatever sticks works. You can be out at a good time on Sunday, for even a guy who's still got a 4, 5, 6 hour drive home. You're not getting home. I mean, it's late, but it isn't, the next day. You're not having to take Monday off.
Yeah, I like being on time. There's some manufacturers or some events that should take note. Maybe it starts with an M. I'm not gonna name names. Axis. After
But
that,
you're always
M-Axis.
late for everything. You're always late.
It doesn't matter. I could be late, but the event corner can't be late.
Yeah, but I mean, we literally finish your cart literally it'll be like qualifying, and we're just put like whatever it is, we're finishing on your cart, and we're dropping you, and hopefully the cart's still together.
Oh my god!
It's still up front, right? So what difference does it make?
Yeah.
I don't
So
think
I did not schedule like my scheduling. So I was, if I wasn't married, I'd be making a surprise visit maybe. So what's your entry fees? What are prices for people that just want to show up and race? What are the entry fees? And do they need new tires? Or going to show up with old tires, or how's that work?
I'll run down the whole thing for you.
Awesome, perfect.
$80 to pre-register, $95 at the track, $15 pit passes. Anyone under 3 is free. Tires are not required to be new. You can have new, semi-scuffed, scuffed, super worn out. I don't care what you run, but when you qualify on it, that's what you got to race for both Heat 1, Heat 2, and the final. Obviously, there's some provisions. If you have a problem with a tire, there's a way to fix it, and get you, the proper thing that you need. But usually that incurs a penalty. But whatever you qualify on, you roll up. We got tire scanner. We scan your tire. Each tire's got a barcode on it. You get scanned, and then at tech, there's random checks. Sometimes they check all 4 of every cart. Sometimes they do a spot check just to kind of see what you got. Sometimes they're on the grid before a heat, just kind of, they've got all your serial numbers listed before. So anytime they want, they can just plug up, hit the scanner, and away you go.
All right, cool.
So, I mean, we try to keep it cheap. Again, it's just, $80 pre-register, $95 at the track. And we give away a bunch of door prizes at the drivers meeting. If you've ever been to a Cup Carts event, when we got the program started, that was a major requirement that we continue here in the South, as the North and the Grands guys do. They give away a ton of stuff. I think last year, or maybe the year before, the Grands, they were giving away like brand new full-size 4-wheelers. Like guys were trying to like figure out how to get this stuff home.
Yeah.
we weren't.
No.
So usually we give out a race or 2 entry fee. At the drivers meeting, you get what they call Dave Bucks, and it's a free entry fee. So you show up, you're at the drivers meeting, we spin a wheel, it's got everyone's name on it. You hit the button, it tells you a number, you get a free entry. Oil, chains, umbrellas, flashlights, whatever whatever kind of nifty little gadget we can find on Amazon that we think racers like, we kind of grab a couple of and we give them out. So we try to make sure everyone leaves with a good time, not fun, but a good time, and tries to leave with something in their hand after a driver's meeting.
Yeah, and for me, it's kind of like the little things, right? Like we, for CKNA to go all the way to when we do Newcastle. I mean, it's a huge expense, but when you get there and they give you a little, 14-ounce pouch of oil or a $25 chain, it goes like for me, that goes a long way, right? Because
Oh yeah.
it's crazy, right? It's the little things because again, at the end of the day, these entry fees are not a lot of money. So if you are spending $95 at the door, right? And you're getting 30, 40 bucks back, then and it's something you're going to use. What did it really cost you to race? Let's be honest here. So
Yeah.
And
I
then
mean,
fuel. Do you have any fuel limitations? What do you guys do for fuel?
oh yeah,
Fuel. Yeah. Sorry. So we run, we provide the fuel.
110.
Rec 90. So we bring it, you buy it from us. It's $5 a gallon. We travel it up to the event, pump it. You bring your cart or an empty jug, whatever. Jacksonville, we had quite a few people get dinged for it. Just kind of putting on top of what they had before. So, you got to make sure you drain your tank and get it out, and then just put the good stuff back in that you get at the track.
So
Even if it is the same stuff that you got from the weekend before or a month prior, you always should do that, especially whenever you're in between events like this. Your fuel supplier, as much as it says it's out of the same stuff, it could be slightly different just based on what they filled up in that tank, the week before. So anytime you go to an event that you got spec fuel, it's always wise to get rid of what you had before and get fresh that's there at the track that time.
Yeah, every time I get off track, I drain my fuel completely out, and then I flush the bowl with WD-40. I mean, that's what I do. I just don't, and I just like to leave it empty, and then oil, I usually drain the oil. That's my preference. Other people like to leave the oil in, but I like to flush it all out. And then when I get to the event that I'm going to, I put their fuel in because I don't want to be dinged for anything. And after you check my fuel, I might dump some octane booster and send it.
yeah, that's what
That's a joke, all right, guys?
Yeah, I hear you.
Dang, I hear people friggin'. I can hear the comments already.
Yeah, they're typing. You can hear it going.
Yeah.
At Jacksonville, we were actually doing we did things a little bit different at Jacksonville. We actually did tech as you were walking up to the grid. So there was actually no post tech for qualifying when you went up, especially in the junior classes. We checked slides before you even went out. So we were doing a slide check, tire scanning on the adult classes. We were doing a little bit of everything, kind of, more visual in a sense, making sure you guys were on the right, spark plugs, and making sure that we weren't messing with, loose caps and mufflers were tight, pipes were tight, stuff like that. The kind of the things that people don't really think of, but they actually do kind of make a difference. But, and then afterwards they were doing weight and fuel. So we kind of mixed things up a little bit, did a little bit of pre-qualifying tech, and then, did a bigger tech after, which if you guys haven't ever been to a Cup Kart event, they don't mess around. I mean, those guys, they know what they're looking for. And I hope we never catch anybody, doing something that they shouldn't be doing. Because we don't want to deal with that. But these guys, I mean, they'll catch it. They're good guys. So
yeah, if you want to see if you're really fast, just drive the car. Don't try to cheat by the damn motor. Because if you win by cheating, I mean, really, you didn't fucking win. You just cheated.
You're gonna get
caught. And then if
yeah.
you get caught, we're gonna beat you up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw your motor in the fucking pond.
Yeah. So have you
probably
guys
your whole cart?
Yeah. Have you guys noticed any issues or have been affected? I know Briggs is having an engine shortage right now. Have you guys heard any big complaints from the racers, or nobody really cares?
I think people care. I think, to be honest with you, what I keep hearing is I think people are more worried about the overall health of the program, which I have no news on. I'm not, and I don't speak with anybody at Briggs, about anything. So I don't have any news to give you. But people are just concerned that, things are slowing down. And to be honest with you, I really think it's just a matter of, people not able to work or not willing to work, and the shipping takes forever. And, I think a lot of things are, I don't know exactly how much stuff is made by Briggs and how much they outsource. I know like ignitions and stuff like that is not a Briggs made part, I believe. So I wonder how much of that stuff they have to wait on. We've been receiving pieces and parts of product, and then we have to assemble it here because we get 90% of it, and then we get 4% more, and then we get the other 6%. So, for us, it's been kind of a weird phase, just because I think the componentry of it is what's kind of slowed things down, and then getting it out the door is the next.
Yeah, I think the vlog I did the other day, and I told Briggs to listen up, was basically the connecting rods. The bolts have been backing out the connecting rods, and we've had from the group buy a block, break it in, do 2 runs, and then you put a nice little vent where the block should be, and your connecting rod goes out. So we've had like 4 or 5 people blow blocks up. And I mean, that same day they buy a block, they run it 3 times, it blows up. And then next you know, and then the other day we bought a block, we shook it, and there was a bolt that was just playing around inside. And I was like, I mean, just a little bit of quality control. I mean, okay, I get it, but when stuff like that happens over and over again, you get tired of it.
Yeah. No, I think it's, I don't really, I can't speak for him, but I hope it's just a temporary issue. I hope it's can't get the parts quick enough. They don't have enough guys on the line. I mean, when we stop and think about it, some of these places, they've got new rules. What a warehouse used to have, where there might be a guy every 3 or 4 feet putting a piece together, they may now have to spread everybody out, to meet their guidelines that they need. So, they might have lost some capacity. They might have just got guys that don't want to come back. Who knows? I mean, so I hope that by the end of the year, things are kind of back to normal, however you want to, play that situation.
Put what normal is now.
Whatever it is. So I hope that's all it is that it's just going to take a few more months, and we'll be back to regular.
No, there is a new 4-cycle class running out there right now, and then they're picking up a little bit of steam over here in the Central Florida region. So, any shot to adding a class like that for no? Okay.
Hell no.
Yeah, that's just making sure. That I saw they had a big turnout at the last local, but we're not even going to refer to them because they're.
No, don't. That's what are they from, China?
Yeah, probably China.
No, Chinese. They're Chinese. We're gonna call them Chinese.
So I'll hit on it just real quick, and this is not from CKNA standpoint. This is from Bret's standpoint as a local track owner. Let's put it that way. How about that? I hate whenever karting has a problem where we give people too many options. So when a guy walks into a showroom and there's 16 different go-karts with 3 different motor packages, all from $4,000 to $12,000, we got to do better. It's just too hard. And then the minute that someone spends the money, oh, that's the wrong one because that's not what, now the new fad is this. So, we've got a really good thing going with the direction that things are running. I wish them luck, but it's not anything that I'm particularly interested in going with just yet, just because I think we've got a really good program that is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's still amazing, even with all the restrictions, everything that's going on. Just look at where the 206 program is now. I mean, I've been now, 2.5, almost 3 years in, or right at 3 years. Just the difference in those 3 years is ridiculous. And then I can only imagine if this momentum keeps up, even though last year was almost a wash because not a lot of people got introduced for a huge part of the year. Where are we going to be in 2 years from now, right? is every South event maybe have 200 drivers, and then when we make it up to the grands, which everybody definitely needs to go, is that 500 carts, 600 carts. I mean, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I mean the North guys, I don't know exactly how many years they're in, but you know they're coming up on 6, 7, 8 years, you know, of being around. Maybe not super official on the long one. I mean, we're only on, what are we gonna have, Grands 5 this year, so you know they might have been around a year or two prior, but you know they're able to pull 250, you know, on their regionals right now, you know, 5 years in. Let's just go with the minimum 5 years. So to jump in at 100, you know, averaging 90 or so for our first 2 events, we're super stoked. We see this becoming a nice little program where next year, I'd like to be, you know, 115 to 130, you know, as an average. Whenever we start venturing outside of, you know, Florida a little bit and getting into some of these other markets, you know, whenever you start going up into, you know, for example, let's use, you know, the New Orleans area. You know, there's a small little bit of a possibility you could pull maybe some East Texas. You know, you kind of get, you know, that little bit of a range that you may not get them to come for the full series, but you might be able to pull them for a race, you know.
Yeah.
So it's you know, same with Charlotte. You might be able to get some Virginia, you know, to come down and do something with you. Again, 8 hours to Charlotte, I think you can almost get up to like Maryland or something like that. So I mean, for a guy to have an event, especially with the Cup Kart guys saying or showing that you can get 300 entries at Charlotte, that's a pretty good little show right there for their first attempt. You know, I think that event right there could be, you know, every bit of 350, 400 in the next year or so.
Oh yeah, no, Charlotte was an amazing event. They did an amazing job. All the racing we got in, they put in, the track was wonderful. I'm glad they added the extra turn, because if they would have done the long way, it would have been just a long drag race. But they added a couple extra turns. They did an amazing job. Definitely, I would like to see more people come out to Cup Kart North America South. This year, I just didn't schedule it in my package correctly. So definitely, I would like to see more people. I mean, I might show up. I don't know. If someone gets a nice, decent scuffed set of tires, if my wife doesn't kill me.
The good news is you can run those things even, you know, they're good for a while. So even a scuff set, that semi scuff set I was talking about, that'll get you to the end there too. So you'll
Oh,
be
yeah.
all right with any that you
Ah,
get. So
I don't need a good set of tires. I like to have the F. I like to
just
have the
as long as
F.
they're round and black, right?
Yeah.
You'll be
Yeah.
I mean, we can just spray paint, you know, Vega on the MGs we got, but yeah, that's probably not gonna work.
all right. Tech man will just come up and peel it off. So.
Yeah. You know, I hadn't experienced the whole like different tire rule at different tracks until I went to CKNA year 1. You know, we had a set of tires, you know, that I was going to run for the event that I picked up for the event, but I'm like, it's just practice. Let me at least turn the first lap, because the cart just got put together. I'll go turn 3 or 4 laps on my MGs, and then I'll come in and I'll throw my other tires on and run the rest of the event like that. Boy, was I wrong. You guys, I mean, CKNA, like, it's like I put the cart down and I could feel eyes are on me, and I'm like, what's going on? And it was instant, you know. So if anybody's trying to do any flim flam, any cheating with engines or prep or anything you think you're gonna do, you're not gonna get away with it at CKNA. It's just not gonna happen, right?
No, it's not. Everyone's gonna. I mean, everyone's trying to get that little bit of an edge, and whenever they see the next guy doing something, I mean, it's not like you were doing anything wrong. It was just practice, but everyone's like, they got eyes on you the rest of the weekend, making sure you don't do anything crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. I mean, I mean, that's why I got spun out every race. I don't know. So my first,
that was a rough year. That was a rough year.
I think we kind of 19 laps in 3 days.
Yeah, it was rough, man. It was so rough.
And then I made it up.
And then last year it was my turn. I went up for the first grant, and it was an eye opener. I was only racing for like 2 months myself, and when I went to Grands 1, and they had like 250 people show up, and I got my butt whooped good.
Yeah, that was
My
the deep
butt
into the
whooped.
pool real quick,
Oh
huh?
heck yeah, man, that was a mistake. Jesus Christ. Now that racing's come up, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited for all this to come up. I think this year was a shock to get back into racing because last year was such a shutdown.
Yep.
So hopefully this year just pans out. The numbers look good, and next year everything shoots back up. You know, I like seeing a just a 206 Pacific series come out anyway.
Nothing against the two-stroke guys, but
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah,
not as easy
no.
as you guys think. All these two-stroke guys look at us and they're like, "Oh, look at the slow guys."
You know what? No,
Stop associating with
screw the two stroke guys. All right, you guys got your own shit. All right, I don't care. You guys got Scusa. I
got,
like the Rock event,
they got Vegas.
but yeah, they have Vegas. So you guys got your own shit. We have the grants. We have way more entries, and it's not as easy as you think because you gotta be smooth and fast. All right. Gabe's trying to be political. I don't give a crap. All you two stroke guys, anybody wants to jump in a 206 and race, you gotta race heavy. I can't get to a light class.
You'll never make light again, ever.
Fuck no.
So,
I'm done. I'm retired.
all right, Brett. In closing here, what are the dates coming up? And take us home.
Yeah, so we've got Monticello, which is up there by Tallahassee, June
6th or 4th,
Fifth.
5th.
Yeah, 4th and 5th. Sorry, I'm looking at my big calendar on the wall. And then we'll be back at BMP August 6th and 7th. Practice on Friday and race on Saturday. And that's the wrap for the season. Quick, short, and sweet. 4 race, get everyone's appetite up. And then not far down the road, we'll have to start announcing dates for the 22 season. Florida, we never sleep down here. And people are already getting dates, lined up for 2022. So we're having to get the ball rolling really quick. We took a lot of energy to figure out where we're going for this last race. So we'll start knocking on doors and seeing who's got a spot for us and what fits in for the racers and what we think would make a fantastic South region setup for motorcycle karting.
Yes, well said. And that goes to Orlando, Anderson, Homestead, you track owners. Come on, just give us one weekend. I know it's not easy.
Everyone, we had a lot of discussions with a lot of guys throughout the year. Anderson, Orlando. I didn't get down as far south as Homestead. That was a bit of a stretch to begin with. So, we all get along. Everyone communicates when we need to. And I appreciate all the effort that everyone put into this season leading up to now, trying to figure out where we're going. Again, we hate that Ocala is not part of the program or a part of karting in general at this point, but, we also have to, figure out what we're going to do next and just kind of make it work. But everyone was very helpful. We're really excited about what's coming up for next year. Into this year, next year, stuff like that. So we're pretty pumped.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, Brett. And then one final Spitfire question: who makes the fastest chassis?
Don't you say it. Don't say it. Don't say that. Don't don't say Marque.
This is your
I think if I was gonna put man, I don't know. It doesn't matter. You got Colin on what's Colin on now? Colin's
he's on
Eagles. Is he on Eagle? No, VLR.
VLR.
So you got VLR. You got the Coyote.
Yeah, VLR.
You got
Comet,
Perkins.
Coyote.
If Perkins ever came, he'd be on the Margay, on the Brava. He'd be up there. You guys on your TBs. I mean, again, like you said earlier, it doesn't matter because it's all about the guy being smooth in a 4-cycle. You can tune the thing all you want, but they're all the same. You're all putting out the same power. It's all about the guy. You got to know your cart. I think a guy quick story. There's a guy that runs here on the track, local series. He's got a 20-year-old Margay. He's out there finishing 2nd and 3rd, beating some of these guys who got brand new go-karts. So I don't really care what go-kart you got. If you know your go-kart, you know how to tune it, and you can drive, you're going to be in the hunt.
Yeah. Jorge's tired of losing with a guy with a 20-year-old chassis.
Yeah, I'm glad that chassis is destroyed.
Is it gone now?
I hope so.
Well, hopefully he buys a new one. He gets slower. So everyone, thank you for tuning into the podcast. Brett, thank you for being along. Jorge, wonderful as always.
Yeah.
Hit the subscribe button, share it. This is all for the karting community, for the 4-cycle community, guys. Jorge, what do you got?
I just got one last thing. I know it's Memorial Day weekend. For my buddy, Special Shannon Zachary, he passed away March 11th, 2013. To all the families out there that's lost loved ones, I hope you have a relaxing and wonderful weekend. I know it's a very difficult time for everybody that's been through that, but I hope everybody takes a second to reflect. We do live in a wonderful country, and we have the opportunity to, um, be free and just relax and not worry about certain things. So thanks to everybody. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Thanks, Brett. Thanks for coming along. All you Carters out there, get off your fucking ass. Let's hit the track here pretty soon, and let's send it, baby.
All right, guys.
Catch you guys on track.
Subscribe and
Thank you,
share.
guys.
Visit up all the tracks and come along. And if you see us at the track, just come and say hello. Just come introduce yourself. So because that goes a long way. See you guys.
Later.